we're just gonna spit on this one. Yo. Hey. I don't get writer's block, I just write them out. I'm crisp like a Sprite when it's hot. This and you might just get dropped. Like it or not, I'm a likable guy, I'm psyching them out. I was fighting in lots while you were just cycling thoughts. You a dyke in the box, so now listen. The way you pitching, you gon' need more than a mound visit. You sound timid and I don't kick it with round midgets. That hound misses, I found this is the way losers acting around misfits. Pound for pound, I'm the listing. You can bounce and get dismissed, clown, get this. Couldn't walk a mile wearing my Fitbit. Competition is non-existent, and you ain't worth the honorable mention. It hurts cause you don't wanna listen. Certainly I'm on a mission. Bone picking lame cats with face tats that I can't tell the difference in. Splitting images, depicting sentiments and lifestyles they never lived within. These cats are children, men, depending on ill wills and pills again. Tell me I don't wanna sell, because it's on my own terms. W or L, whether I succeed or fail. No plan to see you in hell. He can tell, stick around or he can bail. It don't matter to me cause I'ma eat as well. You can get yours in, it's important. I'ma get mine, not interdependent, cause wealth is not a fixed pie. Meaning you blaming your lack of success on another while you sit and do nothing is for losers and suckers, my brother. Man, just sitting there thinking, if I could just like rap like that every single track, I thoroughly enjoy rap a lot more than what I do now. It seems like so many cats really have downgraded in terms of rhyme schemes and lyricism, but let's get back into it. I'm more than a rare exception, you can't compare him. I'm fly as the Tuskegee Airman. My patience is as thin as her pants. You find a sucker cat that's talking smack and I'll just dare him. Come at me sideways, attacking, I'm pushing back your chin. I know you sour, you adhere to fear, and I'm overpowered like Jiren or Beerus. You delirious, seriously, you a joke or high off Oxycontin. Better yet, you a moron and not the Oxycontin, not the likes of mine. I remember sitting back laughing, hoping that I get signed. Now I own my own tracks, riding waves of the hypermind. Popular and dirt poor broke, that ain't my type of grind. If I got started talent, then why would I wanna ride the pine? Pipe it down, listen closely. I'm on the flow, you in the nosebleeds. That's cause I spent my days with no sleep. You fools know me, and low key, you little bro sheep. A little bo peep, you like a bitch, no teeth. Opposition manhandle. You can't light a dang candle on a sandhill with 20 matches and a handbill. You ain't got that. Don't get your hopes up. A contradiction like an old pup. I'm pulling cards like Ilyasova from Deep Playing, Minnesota. Indeed, I'm a Timberwolf, and you just a mini crook. Won't let you off any hook. And plenty rooks thinking that they can get me shook. But on top of the scoring title, I'm locking up like Michael, the Jordan. And beforehand, I had the floor plan and the door hand, so they adore him. Think that work is dead. That's what you make of it. No need to wait for it. Shut up, get on your grind. They haven't been great. We fucked up, bro, this all on me. You can't stop it, cause I've been great. You ain't got to believe what I say. We don't matter, cause I've been great. Best bet to get out of my way. Turn the vision, I can't be swayed. You can't stop it, cause I've been great.
Okay, I'm just trying to get mic access. I got camera issues. I just need a mic. That's all I want. There we go. I got a mic. All right. So I'll get started. Thank you. So I have no camera access, so it will be just audio today. Confirm if you can hear me, let me know. I just tested it. I can finally hear myself. Good morning. Just had some technical difficulties, but I'm going to get started with the topics. Got Bad Boys, got Nikki Haley. Those are the two big ones. Might get into DeSantis, might get a very little bit into Tim Pool quartering Eliza Blue topic. But the first topic, Bad Boys. Bad Boys 4 has been announced. Are you interested? I am interested for one reason, and it's the timing. But first, let's get into it. Will Smith and Martin. Man, I love the show, Martin. Dang, that was one of my favorite shows. Got the mic? Yes, thank you. Broken Traditions, friend of show. Thank you for stopping by. He's been doing some great uploads here on the Tyre Nichols situation. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence announce Bad Boy 4 is on the way. And I will have to admit, I never saw Bad Boy 3. I forgot there was a Bad Boy 3. Bad Boys 1 and 2, I thought were okay. And one of my first thoughts were, I like that these guys are getting jobs as they get older. Please don't get me wrong. I want them to be able to get jobs all the way up until they want to get jobs. You got, isn't Harrison Ford still doing Indiana Jones? So keep on getting those jobs. But Martin is 57. Will Smith is 54. So we're going to have to stop calling it Bad Boys. For me, it doesn't work anymore. We're middle-aged men. I'm a little younger than them, actually. But this is middle-aged men, and I think it can be funny doing that. So hopefully, I didn't see Bad Boys 3. I don't know if they had them retire from the force or what they did with that, but I think a transition is needed, and to have them in the transition would be great, but this would have to be a transitional one. I mean, Martin's damn near 60 years old. So let's transition it out. They can still be funny. They can still do things. I think it has potential if it's self-deprecating, but the big reason why I found it interesting, maybe it's just me, was the timing of it. I mean, we just had the situation with the cops going rogue and just literally beating a guy until he unlived. The murder of Tyre Nichols, and you're coming out with Bad Boys 4. Now, of course, they're not the same type of cops, but I just for me, I would have said, Will, hold off on it. Will did put on a little Instagram teaser on it, and I'll play that real quick. Will's trying to recover from the incident. We're about a year from the incident, the slap. Here's what Will posted on Instagram. I'm getting this from Twitter, but he posted it on Instagram, I believe, initially.
Yo, I got an announcement. Y'all better stop scrolling, seriously. Oh, I'm hype. I hit myself in the eye with my camera.
Starting route to...
All right, hold up. I'm gonna give y'all a hint. Oh, that's my John. I wish I was you, not knowing what I'm about to show me. Oh, sugar. I'm pulling in. We here. Hold up. Here we go. Hold up.
It's about that time?
Money Ma! Hold up, bring that love in there. Money Ma!
What up, man?
Hey, it's about that time.
It's about that time.
It's official, y'all.
Y'all know what it is, right?
It's official. Bad boys for life, baby.
That's
For
right.
life.
Well, we did 4.
We did.
But it's still Bad Boys
But
for
it's
life.
for life. But the third one, the third one was called Bad Boys for. We shouldn't have called. We shouldn't have called it that though.
It's life.
It's like the three was the E. The E was the E. The 3 was the. But this is Bad Boys 4. It's official.
That's right, y'all.
Is Skittles a typical? I'm going to play a couple scenes from the movie. Is Skittles a stereotypical black thing? I don't know that. I don't know for sure. I know Marshawn Lynch likes them. I love Skittles. I just don't know if do people consider that a stereotypical black type of thing. But this is one of the scenes from the movie.
Freeze, bitch. Now back up and give me a pack of tropical fruit bubblicious. And some Skittles.
And there's one, I'm just going to do one other scene. Hopefully my mic's still working. One other scene. This one was funny. A friend of show, Carlos, brought this one up to me it was months ago. And I forgot about this scene, but it was funny.
Think you can find out what's on these shreds?
Of course.
Oye, señoritas. Listen, we're thinking about ordering a little bit of lunch.
Should we put you down for a bucket of extra crispy and a couple of grape soda?
The volume was the volume's low. Let me see if I can bring the volume up. I always have to go get the videos and then pump up the volume.
Think you can find out what's on these shreds?
Of course.
Oye, señoritas. Listen, we're thinking about ordering a little bit of lunch.
Should we put you down for a bucket of extra crispy and a couple of grape sodas?
Couple of grape sodas.
That's very funny.
So I hope they still keep it real like this. If you're just listening, if it's too low, I tried to pump up the volume, but if it's too low, you got a couple guys coming in making some black jokes.
Think you can find out what's on these shreds?
Of course.
Oye, señoritas. Listen, we're thinking about ordering a little bit of lunch.
Should we put you down for a bucket of extra crispy and a couple of grape sodas?
Couple of grape sodas.
That's very funny.
Isn't it low tide?
You know, I think it is.
Don't you have some relatives to pick up?
What? Yo, now you crossed the line, man. Okay,
No,
that's not funny, man.
No,
That's not funny.
we're fucking with you. Look, we planted some wires. We need some help. No bullshit.
Oh man. So if they put jokes like that in there, man, it could be funny. But let me know if I really wanted to find out do you think it's bad timing or am I looking too much into it? Broken Traditions would be the perfect person if you're still listening. I would have been like, I don't think it really has anything to do with it, but I would have been like, let's just hold off a little bit. There's no rush to announce it now. It's in pre-production. I would have waited at least a month. Let me know what you think on that. A lot of people were talking about Nikki Haley. I think she is a very interesting person to look at as far as running for president. The 2024 is getting interesting because Trump is not the same Trump as 2016. And we don't know if DeSantis is going to run. Let me double check. Is my mic still on? Okay, so bro, it must be because broken through this. He said it's not bad timing. People now have the attention span of goldfish. I love the perspective. So you're right. It's like the Tyree Nichols that like it's old news now, isn't it? So you're right. It probably isn't bad timing. That's a good perspective. Yep, doesn't matter at all. But here we go. It's official. Nikki Haley has made it official. Let me share the story here. Let's go to political. And Nikki Haley is poised to enter the arena. I'm kind of excited for 2024. Just from I don't watch sports much anymore, so this is like kind of my sports. It's just what I'm interested in. Also following stocks as well. But Nikki Haley poised to enter 2024 presidential race. And she is very, very excited about this. A person familiar with Haley's plans confirmed that the former South Carolina governor will enter the race with an announcement in Charleston, South Carolina. They say it's going to be February 15th. At first, I heard it was going to be today, I believe, but I'm now seeing February 15th, but we kind of already have an unofficial announcement now. She is poised to be the second major candidate in the race. Do you see the shade they put at Bolton? I don't know if he officially announced John Bolton. Maybe he doesn't count, but I think they are kind of bypassing him as a serious candidate. But I want to see a debate with Trump, Bolton, Haley. You could see Tim Scott in there. Who else could you see? You could see a lot of people in those first debates running for president. Her announcement is a turnaround. If you remember, she did initially say she was not going to run if Grandpappy Don ran. That's words out of her own mouth. Not just like a normal, politician. Can't believe anything they say.
He still has a lot of popularity. If he runs again in 2024, will you support him? Yes. If he decides that he's going to run, would that preclude any sort of run that you would possibly make yourself?
I would not run if President Trump ran. And I would talk to him about it. That's something that we'll have a conversation about at some point if that decision is something that has to be made. But yeah, I would absolutely. I had a great working relationship with him. I appreciated the way he let me do my job. I thought we did some fantastically great foreign policy things together. And look, I just want to keep building on what we accomplished and not watch it get torn down.
When was the last time that you talked to him?
After the election.
Before January 6th or after?
Before January 6th. Yes.
These politicians are so funny, man. You look at her reaction here and you see tells. So when she first answers the question, the volume's low, so let me go away from the mic. I apologize.
He still has a lot of popularity. If he runs again in 2024, will you support him?
Yes.
So then she says yes right at that. And then the reporter asks very good questions here, and you see her look away. These are tells. If you play poker, you look at people very closely.
Preclude any sort of run that you...
So if Trump runs, will you run, Nikki?
Preclude any sort of run that you...
If you're just listening, her eyes turn completely away because that's a tell. She does not want to answer the question. It's a tell of something. She doesn't want to answer the question. I do the same thing. I'm not trying to knock her. I'm just saying you can see it.
Possibly make yourself?
She looks away.
I would not run if President...
And then she comes back and composes herself. She's a very good liar. Very good. Now, at that moment, I don't think she knew, but she knew she didn't want to commit. And then she does it again here with another follow-up question.
Decision is something that has to be made. But yeah, I would absolutely. I Had a great working relationship with him.
Before she says, I had a great working relationship with him, looks away again. Looks away again.
Did the way he let me do my job. I thought we did some fantastically great foreign policy.
Then she uses the word fantastically. She's lying. This is her from last April. That's my opinion from looking at the body language, and that's fine. Everybody does that. That's not, I mean, a lot of people do stuff like that. I'm not trying to knock her for it, but that shows you that's a politician. That's a politician's answer. She said she would not run, and of course she did run. Here's some more clips from Nikki Haley. I'm going to give you my takeaway at the end. But here's Nikki Haley, and I do agree with her in a way here.
Matters, and it's bigger than one person. And when you're looking at the future of America, I think it's time for new generational change. I don't think you need to be 80 years old to go be a leader in D.C. I think we need a young generation to come in, step up, and really start fixing things.
I agree. I agree with that. It's not you. It just definitely won't be you. But I agree. Trump is 76 right now. We don't need any more 80-year-olds in office. It's over. I've had enough of it. We need to go to someone else. You are the grandpappy. You provide the advice. You are the person. You are the Don father. You're the person that people go to. They want to get your blessings and all that kind of stuff. They want your endorsement, but you should not be running anymore. What happened in 2020, I can't talk about on this platform. Too bad. That's life. A lot of bad things happen. But Nikki Haley, do not underestimate her. She is the opposite of Ultra MAGA. Jack Posobiec tweeted about that. He said, breaking, ultra neocon Nikki Haley to run for president in 2024. And then someone underneath that, I like the term. I like how Jack did that. He said ultra neocon. That was really clever, because somebody right under was the same thing I was thinking. Is that the opposite of Ultra MAGA? And Jack says yes. Very, very nice. Nikki Haley is the ranked choice voting candidate. Nikki Haley is a Elon Musk type of candidate. Nikki Haley is Mitt Romney in a dress or a pantsuit. She is the same uniparty, neocon, fake corporate type. And when I said I was stuck in the middle and the channel's stuck in the middle, then I converted over to middle MAGA. It's really fitting. This is a really, because if you're just stuck in the middle without distinguishing where you are, you might be a Nikki Haley type. I ain't a Nikki Haley type. I'm more of a middle MAGA type. I'm more of I like Nick Fuentes and I like Steve Bannon. And those two guys don't like each other. Well, Steve Bannon doesn't talk about Fuentes live, but I don't think he likes Nick Fuentes. I know for a fact Nick Fuentes doesn't like Steve Bannon. And I like them both. So I'm more on that side when you say I'm in the middle. And then you throw in some of the people on the left I like as well. Breaking, Nikki Haley's running for president. Formal announcement expected later in February. Never forget that Nikki Haley was one of Trump's biggest enablers and tools. She may want you to believe she's normal, but she's just as extreme as Trump is. Don't be fooled. This is a corporate person worried about the appeal of Nikki Haley. I will tell you this. If Ron DeSantis has not announced, if Ron DeSantis does not announce, then Nikki Haley has a chance to have a lane. She definitely has a chance to fill. If Ron DeSantis announces, Nikki Haley has no chance. She cannot outshine DeSantis. But if DeSantis doesn't run, which he might sit out, I think that would be the smart play for DeSantis, because getting into this one is going to be really messy with Trump. I would not run if I was Ron DeSantis. You got the shine on you. Everything's good. I understand the corporate ideology. And I do think Ron DeSantis is more corporate. The corporate ideology is you strike while the iron is hot. If you have a good name, if you have a big name, you do not wait. You do not wait 4 years to run for president. I understand that ideology, but you have to look at everything, the whole picture. Donald Trump is throwing jabs right now. When you get in the ring, it's going to be haymakers. And you might beat Trump, who knows? But Trump's going to try to take you out politically. Is it worth it? I don't know. He's got a treasure trove. I believe DeSantis can use that money to run for president. I'm not an expert on that. He's raised a lot of money, and that's why Trump is worried. But Nikki Haley is putting her name in because she doesn't know if DeSantis is going to run. I don't think anybody knows for sure. I don't know if can DeSantis hold that money over for 2028. I don't know. But why not throw your name in? Tim Scott should just stay out. I don't see where he fits in on this. But he's South Carolina too. So this could be this could be a very ugly primary. This could be and Nikki Haley, I believe, didn't Nikki Haley support Tim Scott? This could be a really ugly primary season. Here's some more stuff. When I talk about somebody being corporate, this is the corporate response to BLM. This is the corporate response to Black Lives Matter. I mean, therefore I am tweets. Is this the same Nikki Haley who will be announcing 2024 presidential run? On George Floyd's death, tonight I turned on the news and am heartbroken. It's important to understand that the death of George Floyd was personal and painful for many. In order to heal, it needs to be personal and painful for everyone. That is the canned, corporate, generic response to the death of George Floyd. That's not a heartfelt response. That's not a populist response. It's a corporate response. It's the Amazon response. There's nothing special there. I've played this clip multiple times. If you want to know what a non-corporate response is, it's Steve Bannon. This is why I am not a Nikki Haley person. Steve Bannon has the response that I would want to hear. What part of the movie is this where Steve Bannon, the guy who is portrayed as the Grim Reaper on Saturday Night Live, is the one that has the best, most heartfelt, most emotional, most populist take away from the George Floyd death?
I mean, let's go to Mr. Floyd and I say this all the time about George Floyd. And I don't want to talk about the crime that was committed against him. That's a different topic. But I'll say, let's look at his life, right? When he died, he had CCP virus. He had COVID-19. He was on fentanyl and opioids, right? And he didn't have a great job because all the manufacturing jobs shipped overseas. Think of what George Floyd's life would have been if we had a manufacturing base. He would be a supervisor or a foreman at a factory or a junior management. He'd be opening up his summer home to go fishing up in the lake country in Minnesota, with his second home up there, a little cabin he could share. If he didn't have the opioids that shipped in by the Chinese Communist Party through the cartels in Mexico across open borders, with everybody making money on the way up and the huge profits on that, to poison him and no opportunity for a job. And to top it all off, the Chinese Communist Party virus that the elites and the scientific priesthood has basically helped fund and help do. He had the CCP COVID-19 virus in him. He had the virus in him. He had fentanyl in him. He didn't have access to a great job because all the great manufacturing jobs are shipped off. Look, that's the Greek tragedy to me of George Floyd, is that he was in that position that day. And by the way, let's talk about the fake 20. Well, that's also the CCP. And we know that these foreign entities are putting out this fake money all the time with the opioids to do it. That was what
that is a populist take on George Floyd. That is a caring take on George Floyd. That is a heartfelt take on the tragic death of George Floyd. What you saw from Nikki Haley is the corporate nonsense. What does this mean? It should be personal. It should be painful. What the hell does that mean? There's no substance there. It's vacuous. It's a virtue signal. Steve Bannon gets into it. What blackety-black leader out there have you heard say anything as meaningful and heartfelt about George Floyd? That's the difference. And that's why when you look at my timeline, everybody loves Steve Bannon on my timeline, the people that I follow. And Nikki Haley announced and everybody's laughing. Now, I caution you, don't laugh. She could do something because she is considered like a safe candidate. I do see people looking at her as like, if Trump, for whatever reason, the shine is off him or whatever, he will always be the people's champ. but do not underestimate. I learned from that red wave. I'm not going to be out here looking like Bobo the Fool or Bobo the Clown anymore. I'm not going to be out here just like, oh yeah, Nikki Haley, no chance. No, I will laugh at John Bolton. I will laugh at Tim Scott. I'm not going to laugh at Nikki Haley. This kind of canned stuff for people who aren't following, it can work. It's very safe. Here's Nikki Haley on Bubba Wallace with the garage rope. We should all stand with Bubba Wallace today against the cowards who secretly put the noose in his garage stall. Watch your back, cowards. Bubba has a bigger army than you do. She is the perfect canned neocon candidate. What kind of responses is this to these cultural issues that pop up? She's constantly on the wrong side of them. And it just shows you where she's at. Well, where's she at with the sunflower country? What's her take on that? That's one of the first things I go to. Hey, Nikki Haley, you're running for president. What's your take on the sunflower country?
They've asked for, which is those planes. Make sure they get the planes.
Make sure they get the planes. Really?
They've asked for, which is those planes. Make sure they get the planes from Poland.
Really? Why don't you go over there and battle? Get the planes. For what?
They've asked for, which is those planes. Make sure they get the planes from Poland. Help Poland facilitate that. Let's get that done. The second thing is get them the humanitarian.
Just so casually, get them the planes to escalate.
Help they need. These Ukrainians are fighting hard. We've got to make sure that they're getting food and water and aid so that they can continue to keep their strength. Thirdly, we've got to have a strong conversation with our European brothers and sisters about how they become independent from Russia when it comes to energy. We've got to talk about liquefied natural gas. We've got to talk about how we can do this quickly. And then lastly, they have to make sure they talk about, one, how they are going to prevent chemical weapons from being used, because you shouldn't assume that's not going to happen. You should make sure that happens. And secondly, how you're going to deal with China, because China.
Look at her just spouting all the talking points and try to casually go over the planes.
They've asked for, which is those planes. Make sure.
Casually going over the planes and then going to humanitarian aid, which I am absolutely for. I have no problem with the humanitarian aid part of it. I am concerned that the money has to be audited. Whatever resources are going to help the common people of the sunflower country has to be audited, because that's where corruption can go. But the planes and then going to humanitarian aid to kind of cover up the war, and there's no talk of peace. That's what you're getting. At least Pappy Don, in the speech that he just had, was that in South Carolina? I forgot where he was this past week or wherever. He was talking about, when I come in, I'm going to be peace. I'm going to try to stop this thing. And I believe he would have a chance at doing that. So there's a difference there. If I had to vote, I mean, obviously it's Grandpappy over her. I mean, that's not even a debate or a question. Trump supporters are not for Haley. We know that. DeSantis supporters aren't either. So Nikki's actually uniting us. DeSantis, I don't know if there's really beef between Trump and DeSantis supporters. I think that is being exaggerated. I might have exaggerated that. I don't know if there's real beef there. But it is uniting them against laugh out loud. Nikki Haley is running. That is kind of funny. Who do you think the running mate should be for Nikki Haley? I think Mitt Romney would be the perfect one. You got his niece, the head of the RNC. The neocons unite. It would be perfect. They're very much the same people. Nikki Haley, John Bolton, Mike Pence, Tim Scott. You excited for this one? If DeSantis doesn't run, it's like Trump versus neocons. It'd be Trump on the stage with just a bunch of pro-war neocons. That would be awesome, man. That would be kind of exciting to see. Well, like I said, I thought there was going to be a red wave. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to make it seem like it's impossible for what's her name, Nikki Haley, to win. Let me know what you think. I got one more, and I'm going to do the Tim Pool. I'll be out here. Sorry about that. My camera's not working. I was messing around with Google Meet, and I think I've messed my settings up on my laptop. So the camera's working. I can actually see that the camera's working. It's just not going through StreamYard. But I was watching, I was following Tim Pool. Tim Pool deleted a couple tweets, which is a little bit, well, he does delete. I rarely delete tweets, but Tim does delete. He probably deletes at least, I don't know, a couple a month maybe. So it's not totally out of the norm for him. But let me play a little clip. I'm going to play a clip from D-Day Cobra because I don't have the tweets anymore, and he has them in his video. So let's do a little react to this video here real quick.
Pool has now deleted his tweets where he seemingly.
So these are the tweets that happened here. The tweet that Tim tweeted, we had the quartering on. This is going to be on Jeremy the Quartering and Eliza Blue. Tim said, we had the quartering booked for last night and he bailed on us. We've had Shane Castman working on the story. People still mad about it.
Was throwing shade at the quartering over the entire Eliza Blue situation. And the whole situation is extremely strange to me. Tim Pool had Eliza Blue on his channel just a few weeks ago. She was already gaining a lot more prominence than she previously had, especially with her interactions with Elon Musk over the last several months.
And I'm going to
But when she had
the Eliza Blue episode was, I mean, you have to be, I have to be completely honest. Tim, it reminds me of Rogan in that, like, I just played, how many clips from this show are from Timcast? The Steve Bannon, George Floyd take was from Timcast. There's something about what Tim does that it just creates moments. Matt Gaetz on there, the Steven Crowder episode, the CPAC episode. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I can't tangibly put my finger on it, but there's something that Tim Pool does that brings out just magical moments. And whether you agree with Eliza Blue or not, or you got problems with her background or not, that episode was a special episode, period. Like, you could hear a pin drop, like when Eliza Blue was reading off the testimony from the Tate, survivors, as they call it. Again, I don't get into the he said, she said. I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying it was captivating. So Tim is more about giving people a stage to be captivating in their expertise in relation to the current news story. So he had Jeremy from the Quartering, who I'm a big fan of. I mean, I'll be honest, Jeremy does rub me the wrong way a little bit sometimes. I don't know what it is. It feels a little smug to me sometimes. But I mean, I probably wouldn't be the same person if I had 1 million followers. You'd probably be like, Asir's not the same dude he was when he had 50. I'm not going to try and act like I'm different. You know what I mean? Like Kanye was different when he was on the stage trying to get people his beat tape than he is now. You can't be the same person. But I like Jeremy a lot. He's a great marketer, great streamer. His thumbnails are off the hook. And he does these memes to start most every video. It's just amazing. But Tim booked Jeremy a month ahead. So they didn't really know this story would blow up. But I don't know why it is. It's always perfect. Like when Tim books someone, they're almost always there, like right when the story's big. So Jeremy going on with Tim is a big deal. And Jeremy, in his live, Jeremy admitted he just forgot about it. You just forgot about Tim. That's like forgetting about Joe Rogan. What do you mean you forgot about it? And you've got this beef going with Eliza Blue and you forgot about it? Or whatever, he dropped the ball on it. I don't know if he double scheduled or what. How does that happen? How do you, with all this going on, you're on with Tim, and Jeremy is not as big as Tim. But, Jeremy's big in his own right, of course. how do you how do you drop the ball on a booking from a month ago for Tim Pool? I guarantee you wouldn't have dropped the ball for Rogan. My point is bringing that up is people are going at Tim because Tim has not covered the Eliza Blue story. I obviously I'm not anywhere within the realm of these guys. I haven't covered it either. It is a very you got to be very careful with that topic. You got to dot your I's and cross your T's on that. And then Tim said, I think what he's saying is I have Shane Cashman, who's great. He wrote a great article on the Kerry Lake stuff. He's done great work. He's got a journalist working on it, which is excellent. So Tim can get his journalist working on it. He can work with his journalist. To me, it sounds like he's working on the story. When I got it, I got it. If Tim is under no obligation to cover a story. If I felt like I was under obligation to cover a story, then what am I doing? I just go try to work for CNN or something like that, or Vice. What do you mean? If he's not ready, prepared, or doesn't want to cover a story, he doesn't have to cover the story. I know people are on him because of the whole Jack Murphy stuff. The Jack Murphy stuff was kind of like more close to Tim Pool because Jack was on the show, and one of the strategies for handling something that could be bad publicity is to just let it go. I would have handled it differently, just been transparent about it. But that's a legitimate strategy from Tim. That's not the same as the Eliza Blue stuff. So Tim could cover it too much. I hadn't even talked about Andrew Tate until recently, until I felt passionate enough to do something about it, to give you my general take on Andrew Tate on a very specific level. Didn't talk about anything about the charges or anything like that, just about him in general and kind of why I think he's popular and why I'm not down with him, why I think he's a manipulator. He manipulates weak-minded men and women. So then I was like, okay, I'm ready to do what my take is on it. Tim's not ready to do what his take is on Eliza Blue. Yeah, I'm sure he's just like me, absorbing the information, seeing all the stuff. I'm watching Brittany Venti and Quartering talk about it. And I just haven't had my solid take on where I fit in with it. You can follow a lot of people and get their takes on it. So Tim's saying I got a reporter working on it. Quartering was booked last night on it, and he dropped the ball, and we could have talked about it for 2 hours. What do you want from me? And that's not throwing the Quartering under the bus, because I think it would have been throwing the Quartering under the bus if Tim would have been like, he was booked last night, I don't want anything to do with him anymore. That's not what Tim said. Tim said he was booked last night, and Tim wasn't the one that volunteered that information. Jeremy did. Jeremy, in one of his videos, said, I was booked, I dropped the ball. So Tim said he was booked and he can come back on. So I'm not afraid to cover the story, is what Tim's saying. I just haven't done a segment on it separately. So I have no problem with how Tim handled it. I don't know why Tim deleted that tweet. I have no idea why he deleted that tweet. I mean, it's up to him if he wants to delete a tweet, but to me, just for me personally, I don't remember. I maybe 1 or 2 tweets I've deleted. I mean, I delete tweets if there's like typos or something, but just like if I tweet something I don't want out there, I forget what the topics were, but to me, it's a very strong statement to delete a tweet.
When she appeared on Tim Pool, it really opened her up to an entirely new audience as well, because Tim Pool has a massive following, especially on his live show every night. I watched that episode, and I got to say, it was hard to not see right through her when she was running her mouth. And a lot of this was her anti-Andrew Tate nonsense. And she said she had met with his victims and that she believed all of them immediately without any doubt whatsoever.
Yes, I am not for that. I don't know where we are as a society. If you label yourself a survivor, that's fine. And I hear your story, but I am not going to believe anybody on any side just because. And that is what it's the Me Too stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. We have due process. I'm not going to disbelieve you for sure, but I'm not going to automatically believe you. That is very dangerous.
And that to me was a big red flag right there. I didn't know much about her at that point in time. I had seen a lot of her interactions with a lot of right-wing people, but since the entire story has broken recently with Eliza Blue seemingly being part of this new Twitter censorship program, and as much as a lot of us were in,
and I am concerned about it. I'm not ready to cover it. I am ready to say I am very concerned, and it's more for me from an Elon Musk standpoint. So if I cover that censorship part, I am really heated about what Elon Musk has done with Twitter. People are locking their accounts now because it looks like when you lock your account, more people see your tweets. Are we ready to say that? Are we ready? I hate to go to the I told you so because I was wrong initially. I was the one popping bottles. So this isn't even really, I feel more comfortable going to the I told you so because initially I was popping bottles. Then I was like, something doesn't smell right. And then so now I can say, I think when I changed my mind, something didn't smell right. Something doesn't smell right. Elon Musk has made Twitter fundamentally way worse than it used to be, period. And I don't want to get too much off on a tangent there. I will do a segment on that. But Eliza Blue issue, she is empowered by Elon Musk, FEBI, and CA agents working for Twitter right now. That's the part that's bothering me. If you don't know what happened, they took screenshots from this World Star video where Eliza Blue is shaking her ass. I don't know. I'm not making any judgment for her on that, because I'm one to joke about ass shaking and all that. With her claims of being a survivor, I ain't joking about that. But that's what happened. They took a public video, took a screenshot of it, and then it got them banned on Twitter. It's absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd censorship. I never saw any censorship like that before Elon Musk. So I don't know what's happening on Twitter. I posted a video I did on Atrioc. I had a warning on my tweet. I've never seen that before. I had no nudity in the tweet. I don't even think I said the word nude in the tweet. I mean, it was more of an adult topic, but it was not warning type of stuff. Twitter is worse. It's been a psyop. I am getting off on a tangent. It's what's happening with Twitter is a psyop. He's bringing people back, giving you the impression like, oh, Carl Benjamin's back, Carpe Dunctum's back. And then now the censorship seems worse than before. I mean, people are locking their tweets to get them seen. The censorship is worse than it was before. That's never been a thing. Never. So I'm off on a tangent, but that's my concern there is Elon Musk has some type of relationship with Eliza Blue, and it's something's going on there where judgment is clouded. I'm not going against Eliza Blue. I'm not ready to do that. I am against censorship, though. That makes no sense.
Favor of Elon Musk, and I'm still very much in favor of Elon Musk owning Twitter and running Twitter. It is a better platform than it was previously, but
it is not. By what measurement? By what measurement is Twitter a better platform than it was before? Not by my measurement. Engagement? Do you do engagement? People are locking their accounts because they're not getting engagement, meaning you can't retweet, you can't quote tweet them. Like, he's got to fix that immediately. I mean, that literally will kill the website. If you can't retweet, or that's all Twitter is. I see something I like, I share it with my people. That's it. That's the fundamental part of Twitter. Or I see something I like, I quote tweet and react to it.
There are the same set of problems, just with a new group of people.
No, there's more problems. It's the same set of problems and more problems on top of it. Now, it can get better. I'm not saying that it's going to be like this forever. And Elon Musk is juggling a lot of things. It could be honest, just growing pains. You take over any job, you're going to have growing pains. But I'm just analyzing where we are now. It could get better, but that's where we are now. We have to be honest about that.
That are executing these problems with the censorship. And it's a big story that normally Tim Pool would be covering. He would 100% covering.
I don't know about that. He's saying that Tim normally would be covering the Eliza Blue story. What makes you say that? from the Eliza Blue angle. He's been covering the censorship angle with Twitter. I don't know. When has Tim really? When I say Tim is milquetoast, like Wonder Bread, he is, and I have some of that in me as well. I think when I feel confident, I might go harder on some stuff than Tim, but Tim goes hard too. There's some clips of Tim going hard, but I think Tim and I kind of have the same thought on the Eliza Blue stuff. It's like, do not touch that topic unless you really know what's happening. So I don't know if Tim would normally do a topic on this. Tell me if you agree or disagree. I'm going to put this on the Tim Pool After Show, clip this part of it and put this on the Tim. I have a channel called the Tim Pool After Show. I'll put it up on middlemaga.com. Just look later on today. I don't know. I don't think this is a typical Tim topic. I really don't.
Be covering this. This isn't just a drama situation. This is a news story that should be highlighted all over the place. But a lot of the usual suspects that love to cover these censorship stories are not touching.
It's not a censorship. Tim talks about the general censorship with Twitter. I don't think he has touched on it too much with Blue, though. The Eliza Blue situation is not a censorship issue. That is an issue about credibility and really, are you going to go after somebody that labels themselves a survivor? I have no problem going after somebody who labels themselves a survivor, but I will not do that unless all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Like double crossed, double dotted.
This one, and that's because Eliza Blue has been a darling of the conservatives or the right wing.
No, that's not what it has to do with. It has to do with, this is a very sensitive topic you want to treat with much respect.
And Tim Pool won't really touch this story now.
And then the other thing is, I think Tim thinks like I do, risk versus reward. What's the risk versus reward on this Eliza Blue stuff? I think he's analyzing it. The time of research that you put into videos is a cost. Is the cost. So I would have to do a lot of research in the Eliza Blue stuff, and then what's the risk of it? It's not. So you can say that you're a coward or whatever, but that's the reality of the situation. And it's his channel, it's my channel. And if I look at it and the risk reward is not worth the time, I ain't doing it. Period. So you can label me whatever, you can label Tim whatever. If I feel passionate about it, I will do it. But I'm not doing this channel just to cover something because everybody else wants to cover it. No, that ain't how it works. Most of the time, if somebody has a topic and I'm interested, I'll go ahead and do it. I was thinking about, hey, just to generate some more super chats or something like that, if there's a super chat or super thanks of $20 and you name a topic, I will dig into it. Maybe I'll do that if that would generate some revenue for the channel. But he's not obligated to.
He does have a reporter that he has deployed that was with her while a lot of this was going on in the last week, which I'm very interested in that. And to Tim's credit, he's really good. He's really good at the grift. I respect that. I got no problem with it whatsoever. But now that he's deleted these tweets where he was throwing shade at the quartering and basically using the quartering as his scapegoat, because Tim Pool is getting.
No, he's not using the quartering as a scapegoat. The issue is with the quartering and Eliza Blue. That's the big issue. Him and I believe it's Brittany Venti, who has a great channel. They were the cores that spawned all of this recent Eliza Blue stuff. And he had them scheduled. And people are saying you're not talking about it. He's like, I had the bruh scheduled last night. So that's not throwing him under the bus. And then he said that you can reschedule him. So I completely disagree, especially when Jeremy went public with it.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars in super chats, probably thousands of dollars in super chats asking about this, just like the same situation when the Jack Murphy stuff.
But that's not grift, though. It would be grift if Tim was like, if I get to $10,000 of super chats, I'll cover it. Like what I was saying. If I do I wasn't saying that about Eliza Blue, but I was saying like if I want to get revenue on the channel, hey, if you do a super chat or any type of donation to the channel of $20 or more, tell me what topic you want to cover. I won't be necessarily a expert on it, but I will research it and try to give at least an 8-minute take on it. That is grift, but that's not what Tim did. The Jack Murphy stuff, you gave the super chats. He wasn't grifting off it. He didn't even talk about it. So no, I don't agree with that. That's not grift.
stuff happened. And of course, Jack Murphy was a prominent reoccurring guest on Timcast IRL. And then all of the stuff happened with Jack Murphy, and Jack Murphy just disappears. Nowhere to be found. Tim Pool never discusses it, but he got a ton of super chats. You got to respect the grind.
That's not grind. That's not grift.
You got to respect it. But with all of the questions he was facing, and he has talked about it a little bit recently on his show, now he's been throwing the quartering under the bus in a very passive-aggressive way.
No, he didn't.
But he's now deleted these tweets. Now, this is one of them right here. We had At the Quartering booked for last night, and he bailed on us. We've had Shane Cashman working on the story. People are mad at us. Should we stop covering the story? Seems like this may be the best approach. You can't appease a mob. So now,
I don't know. Why did you delete that, Tim? I don't like that. I don't like deleting it, bruh. This is my constructive criticism to Tim. Bruh, stand up. There's no reason to. If I will change my mind, like if I do a tweet and I'm like, okay, there was a story on there was a woman, her husband, I think it was the husband of one of the newscasters who suddenly passed suddenly, and she got arrested for child endangerment. And I was like, I tweeted because I didn't read I did read the article. The article didn't give me all the information I needed. And I was like, damn, this is messed up. She got arrested for child endangerment because she had to take her husband to the hospital. But then people came back and was like, hold up, read more about it. They abandoned the child before they went to dinner. Then they had to take the child to the hospital. I was like, whoa, okay, I take that back. I didn't delete my tweet though. So my feedback to Tim is, bruh, if you are going to delete a tweet, just for me, maybe it's just me, do not take deleting tweets lightly. You can navigate a topic, you can change your mind, or you can tweak or add nuance to a topic without deleting a tweet. I don't understand why this tweet needs to be deleted. So now you delete the tweet, now I have more questions. Why would you delete this tweet? There's nothing you said wrong. He said, we had the quartering booked for last night. He bailed on us. That means we're going to cover the story for 2.5 hours. Just like Steven Crowder. That would have been a big live too. And then he said, I have a news guy working on it. People are still mad at me. Should we stop trying to cover the story? This is the risk reward is my impression of this. If people are going to be mad either way, we're trying to get our ducks in a row on it. Then maybe the best approach should be to cancel it. Now, for me, I don't care. I understand that for me, it's less about the risk reward. It's more about the risk of me getting something wrong uncovering the story. I don't give a damn. Just like the Tate story, I'm very grateful, friend of the show, Katie Maria. We disagree on Tate, but she's still down with the channel. I don't want to piss anybody off, but I'm not changing my take to appease people. The risk reward for me is more the risk of getting something wrong. There's a high risk of that. Against the survivor, that's a problem. So that's a very high. The risk is not pissing people off. I have no problem pissing people off. I don't care. So I want to hear what Tim's take is on that. Why is he? Because he said you can't appease a mob. I don't give a damn about appeasing anybody. It's not about appease or not. For me. But you don't have to delete. Why are you deleting that?
Now
you got to stand up, Tim. You can't. That's why Salty goes at Tim. Believe it or not. And there's a lot of Salty Army. I should have done a shout out to Salty Army during that Timcast episode. But Salty Army is deep in Tim's chat. And you go listen to Salty Cracker. He's pretty hard on Tim. This is why. The stuff like this is why he's hard on Tim, in my opinion. You can have your take, Tim. Stand on it.
He's basically trying to backpedal and not cover the story at all while using the quartering as his scapegoat. But then he deletes the tweet because he got too much backlash on it. There's also another one right here. Now, this one, as soon as I click on it, it's probably going to disappear. So we're going to read it before I do that. People want us to talk about the Eliza Blue story. We had the quartering booked for yesterday, but he booked in a month in advance. He flaked on us, his words. He can come on anytime and we will find a new date. Y'all want a show about it, and we had it timed perfectly, but it fell apart. This is so disingenuous, right?
What is disingenuous about this, bruh? That's true. It's all facts what happened there. And he's going to talk about, well, it was booked a month ago before the story blew up. So what? Give him credit for that. I mean, it's probably luck, but so what? It was timed perfectly, period. And that happens a lot with Tim. Matt Gates or all these guests, they're timed perfectly.
Here, this is so disingenuous. They did have the quartering booked, but a month in advance.
So what? Who cares if it was booked a year in advance? The timing was still perfect. I got to wake my kids up. I didn't know I had so much to get out on that. That should have been the main topic of the live. Let me get out of here. Sorry I couldn't get in the chat. My camera's not working, but at least I got this clip I can put up on the other channel. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.